Well, New York City is in the midst of a technology renaissance, and there are startups and entrepreneurs and investors who believe that the future of New York is the 21st century New York. And we're afraid that these bills, although their intent to stop piracy is well-meaning, will alter the structure of the internet in such a way as to dampen and to discourage investment, limiting jobs and limiting the future of New York.
So I classify myself as a small business owner. SOPA and PIPA generally are overreaching in what they would like to censor. There's no due process for a lot of things that they would propose. So for instance, companies like Reddit, anything that has user-generated content would be seriously at risk because policing, let's say Reddit has maybe 12 employees or so, policing the millions of people that post comments on their websites every year, it would be a complete disaster. It's completely undoable. It's not even feasible.
This piece of legislation that is being proposed, PIPA and SOPA, are just so draconian and so wide, in terms of the effect it would have on the internet, the underlying infrastructure that powers the internet, that it was very clear that every one of our members believed that this would have a negative effect on their ability to do their work as entrepreneurs, as employees, as investors of such an important sector in New York City.
I believe that this legislation is actually going to make it very difficult to continue to invest in that sector. It's going to be very difficult for companies to grow and prosper in that sector because it creates so much uncertainty around what's legitimate behavior and what's not, that it will chill innovation and will ultimately harm consumers.
When a bill like this comes up, to not have been consulted on this before our senators co-signed the legislation is really a slap in the face to the tens of thousands of people who work in the internet industry in New York City.
I think it was a flawed process. There was one hearing before the PIPA legislation was brought out of committee to the committee, and there was no hearings before the SOPA legislation was brought to it. It was essentially tried to sneak through. The entertainment industry felt that there would be opposition, which has turned out to be the case. And so they thought maybe they could just sneak it through without anybody paying attention. So as a result, the legislators didn't get the benefit of the other points of view and the concerns that I think the internet industry has about the legislation.
We're here to say, no, you need to listen to us. We're not here to pick a fight, but we're here to take a stand that we will not accept our very own representatives co-signing, supporting, voting yes for, or allowing to continue this type of legislation. It's just unacceptable.
I think it is true that they're not aware of the subtleties of the issue. That's correct. That's correct. I think they're becoming aware of it quite quickly, and I think the younger staff members, who grew up inside of AOL chat rooms understand the internet. But the people who are being most influenced by the lobbying campaigns are the senior staff members and the legislators themselves, and they are not that savvy about what it is and don't really understand what they've been asked to do here.
We've got a lot of lobbyists in Washington that work for rightfully disgruntled media companies, big media companies, but big media companies that came to them and said, here's legislation we propose. It's a sledgehammer when really we need a scalpel.
The gatekeepers of the entertainment industry essentially, have a lot to lose because they give up their sort of proprietary position in presenting and packaging, our entertainment for us. And it's going to be difficult for them to reap the same economics in an internet-driven world than they are today. But the entertainers are going to do great. The entertainers will do just fabulous. They will have direct access to consumers. They will be able to get a brand out and build a brand without asking permission of, of a agent or a gatekeeper.
Small companies, the vibrancy of the internet, and due process and freedom of speech ultimately will be curtailed by bills like this. The issue of piracy itself is kind of a red herring in this. I don't think any of us say that piracy is good. we'd all be against it, but the bills themselves are just far too overreaching in what they actually propose.
This is a very important moment for the New York technology industry. Again, we've always just been so focused on building value and being innovative, and that is our job, and that's why we go to work. No matter what position we have in a company, we go to work to make the world a more innovative place, to build innovative companies, to grow the economy in New York City. And now we realize we have a second job, which is to protect our industry. And I think that every member of the New York Tech community and the New York Tech Meetup looks at this and realizes we can make a difference, and in the future, we're going to make a difference.